Good morning, everyone, and welcome to our webinar today on Social Security claiming. Thank you all for joining us here today. Obviously, the year is back in full swing. We've got larger and larger attendee bases to every webinar now, but none is ever more popular than Social Security claiming, and for good reason. It's certainly an level of expertise that can help you grow your business, help your clients, and help you meet new clients. So thank you for joining us here today. The coach will be joining us soon. Dave Pimper is the president of Lazarus Coaching. Besides that, he's like you, a regular producer in the field, growing his business in various ways. One of the ways he uses with his Social Security knowledge is he communicates that via both seminar and radio. So at some point, we'll probably talk about that. And he's going to go through today kind of what he would consider the top 5 Social Security claiming questions and issues that arise with clients. Hopefully get you started on some knowledge that can help you as you're talking to your clients. And then we'll make available to you also some ways to grow that knowledge and to take advantage of it, leverage it to help increase your business. So good webinar today. Thank you all again for joining us. My name is Steve Murray with Insurance Agency Marketing Services. I'm going to run through a couple of things that we do here at IAMS to help you grow your business besides Social Security claiming. And if you have any questions or need anything, just simply type it, note in, and we'll get any questions or anything answered as quickly as we can. I want to make sure that you're all aware of our new producer builders. This is if you're, and I'm looking at our list of folks. Obviously, this webinar does tend to draw a little bit more experienced producers in general, but I know a few of you out there are new to IAMS, and if you're in your first 180 days, you're still eligible to take advantage of the new producer builder. So you can see what the opportunities are before you. I don't need to go through those one by one, various levels that you can claim at. What I would add here is that if you're doing something else or you want to try something different that we could fit in here for you, we would certainly be open to that. Our goal is to incent you and reward you and help build your business in the way that best suits your needs, and we'd love to help you with that. So if there's something else that you want to try, by all means, get in touch with me or get in touch with your sales director. A couple other things that we do on a regular basis that are ways that we get a little bit of extra dollars into your hands or our referred producer program and marketing reimbursement. Very simple programs. If you refer a colleague to us, you think benefits from something we do on the training side or service side or product, incentive, whatever that you think might be beneficial to them, and you refer them to us and they start doing business, then we're going to pay you a bonus based on the business that they do. That doesn't leave you open to some of the agency building issues that you can run into where you're responsible for their chargebacks and things like that, but it is a way that you can grow your agency base without having any of the normal stuff that goes along with that. You don't have to train them. We do that. You don't have to worry about, are they going to get all the features and benefits that you get? They absolutely will get all those. There's nothing that your referee doesn't get because we're paying you that bonus. They get everything that you're used to. So that's something that you're interested in taking advantage of. Give your sales director a call. All you have to do is give us a name. It's great if you make an introduction, not required, but if you give us a name and we recruit them, then we put them under your RPM system. And those are some of the biggest checks that we send out. So hopefully you'll take advantage of that if you have not already. And it is unlimited. We'd love to have all your referrals, obviously. So thank you for those of you that are on with us today that have done that in the past, and hopefully you're reaping the rewards via the RPM program. Marketing reimbursements, another simple program. Everybody automatically gets it. Simple process. The business comes in, there's a tally, marketing reimbursement account, and then when you do business, or I'm sorry, when you take advantage of some marketing initiative and you pay for it, you send us a receipt and we match your spend dollar for dollar. So basically doubles your marketing dollars, and we love to do that. It's a great time. I don't know if there's a better time than today, unless it's tomorrow, to advertise kind of safety guarantees and kind of market volatility periods and times when rates are going up like what we're seeing right now. It's a great time to be in this business, obviously. We're back in the academy business. I'm going to put a poll up here. Before I do that, look at some of the things that we talk about at our academies. You can get an idea of what goes on, and I'm going to give you my take. We've been doing them now for about 15, 16 years, maybe a little bit longer than that. It's been so long. But and they have become, I think, within the industry kind of sought after events. And the reason that is because it really is mostly sales and marketing. Are we going to talk about some product? We sure will. We'll talk about, some of the compliance and uh, suitability issues that I know frustrate you all, and hopefully give you some tips and pointers to help you with some of that. And we talk about a little bit of what's going on in the industry as a whole, but mostly what we're going to talk about, and we'll get some top producers in front of you, and we'll do a top producer panel, and the whole idea is to, hey, what's working? What do you do? What are some new things you can try that can help you grow your business to the levels that you want it to? You won't leave the academy without saying, hey, here's some roadmap items that I think will work for me to help me grow my business. Now, does everyone take advantage of those right away, or sometimes that fade out? They don't take full advantage of what they could. We try and avoid that. You're going to get a full kind of a portfolio that you can follow along presentation by presentation and make notes. We do everything we can to make sure that you get the full benefit from the sales and marketing academies. So you'll have every opportunity. We do look to add folks that have not been to an academy in the past. There's always some changes that go on, but some of the things that we've talked about are the same, and we want to give as many people as we can the opportunity to take advantage of that. We do take care of your travel. We'll take care of your whether you're driving, we're reimbursing you for mileage or flying, and we're taking care of your flight costs. We'll take care of your hotel and your meals while you're there, your drinks as well. So we're going to take care of everything. Your investment is going to be your time and attention, and I think you'll find that won't be hard, a difficult investment, and an investment I think you'll find well rewarded. So we'd love to have you. If you have interest, you need to at least send in a registration form, and that registration form just kind of puts your name into the hopper. And then we are, as I mentioned, we're kind of back in the academy business. We did one last year. This year, we're probably going to do 4, maybe as many as 5. So there can be opportunities galore for you to join us. We'd love to have it happen, but we won't know that you're interested unless you put yes on that poll, and then we'll send you a registration form. You send that back, and then we'll know that you have interest. And as they come up, we'll give you a call and say, hey, does this time work? Does this date work? And if it does, then we'll get you in. So put yes on that poll. Did I launch it? Darn it, I did not. If you give me a quick turnaround on that, I would appreciate it. And don't worry at all about saying no. We have plenty of interest in the academies, obviously. If that's something that's not a fit for, if you've been into one and you want to come in again, I would prefer you call us. Put no on that and then call us. You've already registered. We already have a registration form on just so we don't need that. But if you give us a call and let us know that you're interested in coming back in, we can certainly talk through that. And we'd love to have you join us. And thank you all, by the way, for your quick replies. Just a couple of you have not. So based on that, I'm going to go ahead and close it. If you're having trouble for whatever reason with the polling, just if you would send me a note, or you can certainly give us a call here at the office, 800-255-5055. You can ask for me or anyone, and we'll be glad to send you out that registration form. I see we have some people that are joined late, which means that now we've got multiple people that have not voted. If you will, what we're talking about there is academies. If you're interested in registering, just check yes on that poll. If not, check no. If you check yes. For those of you that have just joined us, if you check yes, we're going to send you out a registration form, and we'll get you called over the next few months. We're going to do the last one probably in November of this year. We'll give you a call and let you know if it's a good fit for you. We'll try and get you into one of our academies. And I'm going to go ahead and close that out. Keep moving along here. So if you're not doing Firelight, if you're not doing e-apps, you're in the minority now. Most people do their business via e-app. I would encourage it. I can't tell you how, and we work with what I would call lovingly a more mature agent base than some of our competitors, and so change is a little bit more difficult. But I will say this, that there's even the most resistant folks that maybe during the pandemic said, you know what, I'm going to have to learn this EAP thing whether I want to or not, love it now. There are some advantages to EAP that you just don't realize until you run into them. But it's nice when your client's information is all in the system and you're going to take another app on them, and all you have to do is do a cut and paste, and 99% of the information on that application and suitability form is all filled in. You always have the right forms, which is nice. If you've ever sent an application in and then realize that either you didn't have a right form or you didn't complete it. You can't do that when you're doing an EAP. It won't let you continue on unless you've at least completed the required boxes, which can save you a lot of time. What a lot of guys have discovered as well, I mean, if you send a paper app in, and it's just because these companies are not as used to getting paper apps anymore, but if you send a paper app in, it kind of goes to the bottom of the pile, and you're looking at a 4 to 5 day processing time for many of these carriers now, where an EAP, because it just goes right into their system, it basically goes right from the receive to the suitability department, and a lot of times that suitability review is just a 1 day deal, and so 2 days later, you're finding out, hey, I'm ready to get this thing issued. Whereas if you're doing a paper app, that's not even in their system yet. It's sad but true. These companies are kind of defaulting to what's the quickest and easiest for them, and that is the EAP process. So the beauty is that now on our website, all of the carriers that we offer that do EAPs are on our system, so you don't have to go to 15 or 20 different websites depending on what carrier that you've decided to write. You just go to our website, pick the carrier, and even if you're doing 2 apps, for instance, if you're doing one with Equitrust and one with Athene, you can put it in all the information on the Athene app and then cut and paste it across to the Equitrust app, and 90% of what you need to complete is already done for you on both apps. So there's some little advantages to the EAP process. If you have to redo an app or redo something on an app and then recomplete it and send it to your client, instead of driving over, you can just email them and say, hey, sign here, or click here. That's their signature. It's really so much simpler and frankly more professional. So if you haven't done that, give us a call. Call your sales director and say, I need to get set up and registered to do EAPs on our system. It literally takes 3 minutes. It's so quick. So we'd love to help you with that. I spent more time on that than I wanted to, but it is an area where I do feel bad for the folks that haven't begun that EAP process. There's so many advantages to it that I just want to make sure we walk you through it all. We've got a great advertising department, and they're your advertising department. Obviously, they work on our advertising too, but we've got plenty of folks over there now that we can help you with your advertising. We're going to do whatever we can for free, pro bono, if you will. Whatever else we do there at cost. They do a ton of stuff, and I can't tell you how many comments I've got from our producers that are like, hey, I had no idea. What they do is so changes the quality of my image so much. It's made a big difference in my business. Call your sales director and ask how the advertising or creative department can help you grow your business. We do the retirement analyzer. If you look before you on the screen there, you can see a couple samples of the output. It's good stuff. The output is very good, easy to understand, and really nicely laid out. And then look below that, you can see some of the questions that you can answer for your clients. And this isn't for all of your clients. And the only reason I say that is because there are some of your clients that maybe you're not 100% dependent on you to help them map in their retirement journey. Maybe they have other advisors that they work with, or maybe they don't need that. But for your clients that are looking for some assistance, making sure that they're going to get to where they want to be and in good shape. And maybe sometimes they have to say, I'm not going to get to where I want to be, but this is where I can get to realistically. That retirement analyzer tool, which we make available to anybody that does business with us at our cost, we take care of the expense with that. And even if you're not doing business with us and you want to try it, we'll make that available to you in kind of a trial run. And all we ask is that you do your business with us. And if you want to get in touch with someone here that can help you with that, it'd be Marcus. You can go Marcus at imzinc.com. I'll send you his email address here in a minute, or just call in 800-255-5055 and ask for Marcus. He'll be glad to get you out a link and let you try that, help you with some of the basics. And what I always suggest is a guy do one on himself or do it on one of his top clients. He's got all the information in the file, so you can see the inputs. I'd love the inputs versus the outputs with your retirement analyzer, I think, are as good as anybody. In other words, you don't have to waste as much time with the inputs to get a good quality output with your clients. So I would recommend that you try that if you have not already. I know many of you have, but for those of you that haven't, again, it's at our cost. So if you're doing business with us, we've got a wealth management firm, an RIA. Many of you have decided to add that to your business. I talked with one of our guys yesterday that added it about 3 years ago, straight insurance guy for about 29 years, added that into his business. And I said, Tim, tell me a little bit about how that's affected your business. And it wasn't really a setup. I mean, Tim and I have been friends for 15, been doing business together for 15, 20 years now. And I just wanted to know, what difference he said that made in his business. And basically the assets that he has managed over the last couple of years have doubled. And by that, I mean, his annuity business is more. He's probably increased that by about 25-30%. And then he has increased because he's now managing assets, he's about doubled that. So where he was doing 3.5 to 4 million of total business that he worked with, now this past 12 months, he said it's been a total of 8 million. So he's got about 3.5 of that's his managed assets, about 4.5 of it that is annuity business. And he said, I probably would have still done 3 million of that annuity business without the ability to offer managed assets. But the fact that I have increased my annuity business and add a substantial increase to my managed assets and grown the value of my business that way, he said, it's the best thing that I've ever done. I think that if you haven't considered that, I wish you would. We've got a great setup with IAMS Wealth. They do a great job with helping you through the testing process. If you haven't gotten your Series 65 yet, they can help you with that. I don't know if I want to do this really quick, and this is going to be quick. I'm just going to talk for a couple minutes, but that poll's out there. If you want to hear from somebody, you want to talk to Duncan or Charles or one of the folks there at the wealth management firm and learn what they do, just click yes on that poll. But their payouts are better than most. They're a little bit over Scotia over 1%, and they don't go through a grid. So you're not getting 70, 80, 90% of 1%. You get the whole 1%. Their fees are a little bit less than most, and the value of their fees, you get a website with it, you get your CRM, and you get all the compliance overview that you need, and all the services that you normally expect from an RIA, and their fees are very reasonable. So a little bit lower fees, higher benefit to that. And just generally, they're built on the IAM service model, which is, high touch service. What can we do to help? Helping you through whatever you can, working the system and making sure that you know how to use it. So great firm. If that's something you have interest in, and I see all but 2 of you have voted, which is great. I'm going to close that out because I want to keep moving here. But if you weren't able to vote, or maybe think about it later and you change your mind, again, give us a call here at 800-255-5055. Ask for sales director, and they'll be glad to walk you through the ins and outs of how that can help and grow your business. Get moved on. This is great stuff. So we had to change from our cruise to something here in the 48. So we chose the Greenbrier. It's a great location. We've decreased the qualification level for that as well. And then we've added in some levels to take you to Washington, D.C., or give you some extra benefits while you're at the Greenbrier, give you an extra day while you're at the Greenbrier. The bottom line is that we want to have you qualified and get out there. And so many of you, like us, have been kind of caged up for a little bit, haven't been able to get out and do the things that you want to do, and certainly haven't been able to go on some of these trips like this where you get together with a lot of producers just like yourself. So we'd love to help you with that. We've still got time to qualify. The qualification runs through the end of June. We'd love to have you and your guests join us, either the Greenbrier and Washington, D.C. for a couple of days as well. So qualification is ongoing. If we can help, give us a call. So now let's talk about Social Security claiming with the coach, Dave Pimper. Dave, are you with us this morning?
Yes, I am.
Yes, yeah, I babbled on longer than I should have this morning. And I want to get right into Social Security claiming. I did talk a little bit about you and your experience and what you do and how you do it, but I think it bears kind of the from Dave to the crew. Why don't you tell them a little bit about yourself before we get right into talking about Social Security claiming?
Yeah, I've been around the business for a long time, since 1981, so started 41 years ago. I just work with that pre-retired and just retired crowd. I'm in full production in Fremont, Nebraska. Been working with IAMS for production for 17 years, and been coaching with IAMS for 16 years. I had my own coaching firm, Lazarus Coaching, before that with investment professionals from the independent side. But it's been a really good marriage, and I don't work for IAMS, but I certainly promote what IAMS does and how they go in and give options for marketing, especially ways to get in front of more people, which of course hopefully will improve production. But Social Security has been a mainstay for me for about 10 years now, about a quarter of my career, and very few advisors really understand a lot about Social Security. So I just want to go through today, and this is not going to be a long webinar. I mean, I'm going to be done at about quarter till. So this is not going to be about 25 minutes maybe or so, but listen up, because Social Security, if you don't really understand it inside and out, you should. I'll assure you that you're leaving money on the table. So this slide said most retirees get little advisory help on Social Security. And it's from Sarah O'Brien from CNBC. Get a load of this. A majority of older Americans get no professional advice about a key part of retirement planning, Social Security, even if they work with a financial advisor, a recent study concluded. And I'll tell you right now, I've had my share of people change advisors because I really did understand Social Security. Here is a quiz. And this quiz, it's only 1 in 300 could ace Americans. So please take this quiz with me. We got quite a few people on the line with this, but be honest on your answers. To maximize your monthly Social Security checks, at what age must you claim benefits? To maximize your monthly Social Security checks, at what age must you claim benefits? Please write it down. If you said full retirement age, you're wrong. That's your 100% full benefit. Your biggest benefit, especially if you're single, is age 70. Maximize it to age 70. Question 2, what's the earliest age you can receive survivor's benefits if you're not disabled? What's the earliest age you can receive survivor's benefits if you're not disabled? Here's the answer. Write it down. Answer is 60. That's the earliest age. Question 3, does your spouse need to receive benefits for you to qualify for spousal benefits? Does your spouse need to receive benefits for you to qualify for spousal benefits? Yay or nay? Answer is, yeah, they do. 4, can divorced spouses receive spousal benefits? Yay or nay? Can divorced spouses receive spousal benefits? Yes, if 4 stipulations are met. And those stipulations have to line up. If you get 2 of the 4 correct, I'm going to give this answer to you. What are 2 of the 4 stipulations? Write them down. 2 of the 4 stipulations. Here we go. Well, first of all, you have to have been married at least 10 years continuously or longer. Secondly, you're currently unmarried. Third, your ex is at least 62. And fourth, your divorce was at least 2 years ago or longer. Now, all 4 of those have to line up to have this work, but if you got 2 of those 4 answers correctly, I'm going to give it to you. And then lastly, are you eligible for survivor's benefits if you're divorced? Are you eligible for survivor's benefits if you are divorced? Yay or nay? Answer is, yep. And I'm going to give you the stipulations because we went through those. So there's 5 questions. I mean, how'd you do on those? If you got 4 or 5 right, you're fine. I mean, you know Social Security, unless you guessed on that, you won't on the stipulations. But if you got 1 or 2 right, maybe even 3, you know a little bit enough to kind of make you dangerous. But really understanding Social Security, it's just a matter of getting well coached, which I do, well trained, and then using it. I mean, helping people with their Social Security questions, even if you don't know there's times I don't know the answer, not many, but there are, and I go and I find out the correct answer and call them back, let them know, just tell them, hey, good, great question, let me find out. The nice thing is, you've got 3 ways through IAMS, Insurance Agency Market Services, the FMO, which Steve Murray is President CEO, what happens is that you've got myself who is coaching you, a one-on-one coaching. And you can call me, use me when you want to. Use me, don't abuse me, but I'm here to answer all of your questions. Okay? So what happens is you can do it, you can get taught up on Social Security coaching for no charge if you do marketing. If you use seminar marketing, which is $2,750, guarantees at least minimum 35 signups. Yeah. If you do that, I will coach you up with 3 sessions at no cost to you whatsoever. Pretty cool. I just got 14 appointments from our last Social Security workshop. How about Retirement Boss Radio, being your own radio host for an hour? We've got, Stevie probably saw this, we've got 2-3 brand new people that are media buyers out looking for time right now. So things are really radio. What a great way. And I hope to get 10 to 12 appointments every single month from that radio. Normally costs $3,000 to $4,000. We just quoted one down in the Southeast. It was $3,960, and he is doing it. And I'm excited. And I coach you up there on Social Security. IAMS pays me to coach you, not in your hierarchy on either one of those. Or if you just say, I don't need any more appointments. I mean, I've got a lot of appointments. I just want to get coached up. We do 4 appointments, coaching appointments for $800. So 3 different ways to really learn Social Security claiming. Steve, I'm going to take a drink of my tea. And why I'm taking a drink of my tea, I mean, quickly, what you see, because you see producers and you're on the line with producers on the phone. Interesting. You're CEO president, but you still take those phone calls but the people that understand Social Security, do you see a difference in production across the board on that?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, that's a little bit of a setup question, Dave, but there's no doubt. I mean, I think of the guys, probably 50, 60 guys that have done Social Security seminars
Yep.
and continue to do Social Security seminars, and the difference that has made in their business, it's just very consistent and very,
Big.
very strong. So, you still got to have a way to get that knowledge out there, whether you have a client base that you're happy with and you're working with them and you're getting referrals. I recommend seminars. Seminars are really the best way, I think, to work with Social Security and get that out in front of your local community. They're educational based seminars, and we can do that very, very economically, efficiently, I would say.
Right.
But you just cannot argue with the results that we're seeing on radio right now. Who would have thought that you would, with all the different mediums and, podcasts and this and that,
I know.
people still listen to radio in droves.
Well, and you know what, Steve? You know what's very interesting? Podcasts are for younger kids.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm not saying that older don't, but do you listen to podcasts or not?
I have listened to some, Dave, and I'm an older guy,
Yeah.
but I still, the easiest for me is still clicking on the radio. And that's not my son.
Yeah,
My son is just, he gets in his car and turns on a podcast every day. So
that's like my son and daughter too. I think the interesting thing you said though was knowing and understanding Social Security alone, it will make you a better financial advisor, but it won't make you more money per se. But if you get in front of people who need questions answered, i.e., by seminar marketing or i.e. by radio host marketing, then all of a sudden that Social Security knowledge has a purpose. And the purpose is to help that person. And interestingly enough, Social Security Administration cannot give you advice. They can only give you your highest benefit right now. Very interesting. Who gives advice? An advisor. That's what we do. We give advice. But yeah, as you know, I mean, and we've talked about it before, but I've always been a good producer, but I've become a better producer because of knowing Social Security and marketing Social Security. This is from Jana Herron, USA Today. Doing this one thing with your Social Security could mean losing $100,000 in retirement. That's a lot of dough, 100,000. Mm-hmm. Bullet point 1, and I took this word for word on the excerpts. How much does claiming Social Security at the wrong time cost you? Please listen up. This is wild. Retirees will lose an average of $111,000 in income per household over their lifetime because they took Social Security benefits at the wrong time. Only 4% retirees took Social Security at the financially optimal age. Steve, I just did through the software, which we give actually 3 months of free software. I kind of just renewed that deal. I forgot to tell you, Steve.
Thank you.
So yeah, and we got it instead of a bunch of separate links. It's off the same link. So we got 3 months of free software from a very called Social Security Pro. It's very, very good. They've upgraded it some, which is nice. But I did a report and I asked the people what they're planning on doing, and they said it was a married couple, and they said we're planning on both waiting to 70. And I said, well, you know what? You would think that's your very highest, but I said it may be worthwhile for you to take at 66 for the lower one and 70 for which was the man of the higher one. And they said, well, we know that it's going to be worth a lot more if I wait too. I did the report on it. They have tremendous longevity in the family. So the lady thought she lived to 95. The man thought he'd lived to 8. And of lifetime earnings, the difference between taking at 66 and waiting to 70, lifetime earnings was $11,000. Well over $1 million of total earnings. I said, take that money early. What happens if you die early? What if you get hit by the bus? What if something happens to you? They were just amazed because they had heard the whole time, wait to 70, wait to 70, wait to 70. But there was only $11,000 difference. Yeah, she's going to take next month. She's going to take it 66 and have that money come on in. So just, I believe that Social Security is the worst water cooler talk you'll ever hear. Hey, Dave, I took it 62 and you should too. Hey, Dave, I took it 70. Everyone should wait to 70. That's not the case. And many times it isn't just that you could get more, but maybe you just lose just a teeny bit less, like in this part, and she's going to have 4 years of a head start of taking it at 66. So I just think most people, they really don't know until we actually run that report on it.
So when I looked at that slide, there's kind of the two things that struck out to me is average. People on average lose 111,000, and only 4% of retirees hit the right number. I mean, that's
right. And you know what? If you went to the very most, you know what? But we're not. You don't always have to maximize like that one. There was 11,000 out over a lifetime of $1 million plus earnings. Yeah, I said, look at why take the risk on your health? I would take it right now. So just quite interesting. Yeah. So and that 111,000, I've seen it before. I mean, I'm not kidding you. I've seen it before where whether they took it early or maximized it, there was a difference of over 300,000. Those are both highly paid individuals, and they were towards the top. But that's the average. You're right. That's pretty wild. Pretty darn wild.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Social Security started in 1935 by Franklin Delano Roosevelt. 65 was the only age in the beginning, even though longevity wasn't even that old. Automatic cost of living allowances, which was 5.9% this year, highest since 1983, highest in 39 years. And actually, inflation now is about 8.5%. We may see even higher than 5.5% if the government can't bring down inflation. By October, that's when they figure out month over month in actually September, and they let you know in October. Is there taxation? Yeah, if you make above a certain amount of money. Bipartisan Budget Act did away with file and suspend in 2015. It actually phased out in 16, and then restricted applications phasing out in about 19 months. If there's any questions, please type them in, and I'll be more than happy to answer those for you. How important is Social Security? Vary. 59% of all retirees count their Social Security as their major source of income, more than personal earnings, more than 401ks. 3 ages or dates that are important to Social Security. What's the first age you can take at 62? Discounted somewhere between 25 and 30%. What is the latest you can take it? Age 70, you don't have any gain except for COLA. And then there's their full benefit somewhere between ages 66 and 67. Can Social Security have a huge value? Yes, if you claim at your right time. This is a real important slide. Not the right time, not a right time, but your right time. The Social Security Administration cannot give you advice. We do. That's why so many people, and this is what I tell people when I'm in the workshop. I say, folks, That's why so many people sign up for the free consultation, because they want to find out what is their right time. Okay. Any questions? Just type them on in. Trust fund still has 2.8 trillion. 2020 it ran a surplus. 2021 it should be coming out within the month, I would think. It could be delayed because of the pandemic, but I think there'll be $35 billion deficit down, and it will run out. This trust fund will run out of money. I always ask, whatever the trust fund does run out of money, it goes bankrupt. That's when the politicians say it's bankrupt. So the 2.811 trillion goes bankrupt in 2034, as projected by Social Security Administration. So if you got a $2,000 benefit coming in and the Social Security Trust Fund goes bankrupt, how much are you going to get? A lot of people say nothing because it's bankrupt. But that's not true, because it's a pay-as-you-go system, isn't it? Payroll taxes. That pays for the majority. Nearly 90% of all of the benefit comes from payroll taxes. A little bit from interest on the bonds IOUs, a little bit of taxation money, about 10, 11%. Rest of it is the 6.2% that you pay in payroll taxes, and the 6.2% that your employer pays. So you'd still get about 78% of the benefit would be coming in 2034 if the Social Security went bankrupt. So it's a strong system. There's never been one payment that has been missed, not one single payment. So how do you shore it up? It's going to be either through taxation, or it's going to be through longer ages, like in full retirement age now, 67, might be 67, 68, or 68, 69. If you get your full benefit, if you're single, waiting to 70, might be 72. That's probably what will happen. Okay? Is it a Ponzi scheme? No. Does it borrow against the bonds or sell the bonds out and replace them with IOUs, the government? Yes. It's not a Ponzi scheme. No, nothing hard asset backs Social Security, but nothing hard asset backs the currency in your pocket either. It's the full faith and credit of the United States government. If any questions, type them in. Steve, I'm going to have you help me keep those slides going. I apologize about that. I just don't know why I can't get that. Okay. So a lot of spin and plates when it comes to figuring the benefit, but first of all, you need 40 quarters of coverage. 40 quarters of coverage. It's done by income. It's $1,510 is 1 quarter of income where you get a quarter of coverage. So if you take $1,510, just take it times 4, it's 6,040. You get 4 quarters. You need 40 of those, 10 years of those. The more you make, the bigger your benefit's going to be, up to a max. Like this year, it's $147,000. If you make $147,000, not many people do, but if you do, you've maxed out your Social Security. But take your 35 highest years, it's when you start. The earlier you start, the lesser the money. You get it now, but it's lesser. Longer you wait. And for myself and my wife to maximize our benefit, I figured it all out. She took it 62. I'm waiting to 70. Interesting, isn't it? She was at a very small benefit, but that it was worth taking it early. So it isn't that everyone needs to wait, for sure. Cost of living went up 5.9% this year. Okay, there we go. So if you're born from 43 to 54, your full retirement age is 66. I was born in 55. I'm 67 right now. 66.2. Born in 56, 66.4. Ratchets up 2 months per year to 1960 or later. A newborn child born at the hospital today, 67 is their age. If you take early, it's discounted about 4, 5, 6% a year. Depending on your age, full retirement age is 66, 67. If you take it 62, the earliest you can take, discounted anywhere 25 to 30% for the rest of your life. If you wait later, great things happen. Full retirement, after full retirement age, if you wait 1 year, that's called a delayed retirement credit, DRC. You're guaranteed for your money to grow 8%. Plus, you throw another 5.9%. So, just give you an idea. I have a higher Social Security benefit. It's above $3,000, but let's say it's $3,000. You know what? This year, with myself being 1 year past my full retirement age, 5.9% cost of living added, yeah, my benefit grew 417% in 1 year because I delayed. It's a big deal. It's like a mini pension each year. So let's talk about spousal benefits. This is done automatically if you're married. But Dave's PIA primary insurance amount is $2,400. Amy's PIA primary insurance amount, being the amount at full retirement age, is $1,000. Dave takes his. Amy takes hers. Dave gets $2,400. Amy, the lesser benefit of the two, has option. Here's her option. She can take all of the $1,000 benefit, or she can take half of Dave's, whichever is higher, whichever is more. What's she going to do? Take half of Dave's. So the way Social Security looks at this is, you have $1,000 of a individual benefit and a $200 spousal top-up benefit. How about a divorced spouse benefits? Many are left on the table. And remember, you're not going to get that certified letter from the Social Security Administration that says, hey, you're leaving money on the table. They don't do that. So remember the 4 stipulations? Marriage lasted 10 years or more. Spouse receiving the divorced spouse benefits currently unmarried. X is 62. And the 4th thing is the divorce was 2 years ago or longer. If that's the case, you can use your X just as if you're still married to them in the eyes of Social Security. What's important with that? You get many more benefits, options with spousal. Actually, 567 options with spousal benefits. How about survivor benefits? Dave and Amy are both married, both over FRA, full retirement age. Dave's is $2,000, Amy's is $1,200. Who normally dies first? Guy does 75% of the time. Dave kicks the bucket. Amy's got an option. She can keep her $1,200, let his go. She can drop her $1,200 or take his. She can't take them both, one or the other. My mom is 98 years old. For 17 years, she's had my dad's survivor benefit, which was much bigger than the few hours that she got to get a benefit. Yep. So this has to be notified on your part. It is not done automatically. Another cool thing about survivors benefits is that you can do a file and suspend, which was phased out back in 2016 from the Bipartisan Budget Act, but not with married couples. They had much trouble in the very beginning, thought that it was with marrieds, but it's not. So you can go in and you can take the widow's benefit and let yours grow, even all the way up to 70 if you want to, with no discounting, even though you took the widow's benefit early, survivor benefit early. How about you take your benefit and let the widow's benefit grow? There, you'd only let it grow to full retirement age because you can't earn delayed retirement credits on the survivor benefit, just your own. Pretty cool. So there is still file and suspend that's available. So coordinating spousal benefits, I did run into one where it did benefit them by a few thousand, but you must be born before January 2nd. It's called restricted application of 1954. And if you are, so you still have a few months left, you can do a restricted application. So as long as Dave was born before 1/2 of 54, Dave's primary insurance amount, the amount at full retirement age, is $2,400. Amy's PIA is $1,000. Amy files for hers, which she has to. Dave wants to let his grow, which is great. He's going to grow 8% a year up to the age of 60. But if he's born after, not both of them, just the one, before January 2nd of 54, yeah, then what happens is that there can be a spousal benefit that is taken. So Dave can reach out and get spouse benefit is always half of the full benefit. Half of 1,000 is 500. 500 times 12 is 6,000 a year. 6,000 a year of absolute free money. Pretty amazing. Most people have no idea. Less than 1% of all people this would help use it. Remember, the Social Security can't give advice, only the highest benefit right now. This comes right from their manual, Program Operational Manual, POMS. It says provide enough information so that claimants can make informed choices, but do not give advice, period. Okay? So it says consider all your income streams before you claim Social Security. It's not a standalone income stream. Social Security isn't. I call it the pillars of income. There's 4 other income streams. It's the most flexible of all the income streams, claiming at your right time, not the right time. That's important. It's not a boilerplate that we do for folks. It's individualized. And the survivor benefit can change, when that break-even point is. So wages, pensions, income-producing assets, RMDs, and Social Security. Remember, RMDs on traditionals are at 72 now. I'll tell you something else. That number 3, those are all things that the Social Security can't ask you. They can't ask you about your income. They can't ask you about the assets you have or what your expenses are or your goals for this money. That isn't what they do. They just give your highest benefit. But 3, there's that way that I go in, I uncover all the assets. I work with partial assets all the time when I invest. Lot to consider when it comes to Social Security claiming. Remember, and then Steve will open it up for questions. If you have any questions, type them in. I'll be more than happy to take those for you. 3 ways. Seminar marketing, being your own radio host for an hour, recorded. We have the complete blueprints, the tracks to do those. A through Z, turnkey. Or just 4 sessions for $800, 4 45-minute sessions, and you can use me anytime during and after that. There's no saying it says procrastination is my sin. It brings me constant sorrow. I really shouldn't practice it. Perhaps I'll stop. Hey, tomorrow never comes. Don't let that happen to you. Learn Social Security. My gosh, it's just, you got 10. They always say there's 10,000 people turning retirement age every day in the U.S., between 10 and 11,000. But that's just 1 year. They're turning 62, 63, 64, 65, 66, 67. Those could all be retirement age. 10 grand, 10 grand, 10 grand. There's a ton of people. It's going to go, the next 20 years of boomers retiring on in. It's just such a strong, that pre-retired or just retired, that rollover marketplace, 401ks, 403bs, through savings plans, fertile. And that's what you're looking at right here. So, Steve, if we could put up the poll, and on this poll it will say you're either going to mark yes or you're going to mark no. But if you mark yes, got a different one up there. But if you mark yes, then what happens is you'll be able to have an appointment with me. We'll talk for 15, 20 minutes, and off we go. So, Steve, I'll hand this over to you.
Great. Dave, I did have somebody ask about, on just a chat message, about radio, so
Yep.
where they could listen. So this is Dave's Retirement Boss Radio website. So you can just go. I think I chatted to the entire audience that link. So it's retirementbossradio.com. And if you wanted to, there's other stuff here, but if you want to just listen to a radio show, then you go right down here to the bottom and you can listen to up to April 30th, I guess, is the last one you have input in there. And I see you have 26, you do those in 30-minute segments, right, Dave? That's why it says 26.
Yeah, 30-minute segments, that's right. Hey, Steve, I am really impressed. How the heck did you get that up there at your age? I couldn't do that. That's impressive. Or did creative help you? Well, you're creeping on it, though.
Oh, yeah. So those podcasts are about 30 minutes. What Dave does is, the way that Retirement Boss Radio works is you'll record a couple sessions where you do two 30-minute or 2 26-minute recordings, and you do that for like your first 2 or 3 so that they're hour-long shows. And then what he does is he takes one of your older 26-minute sessions and then rolls that up. So you really only having to record a half-hour show each week or each month. No, each week. And then he just adds that in. I don't know if I made sense there, but it just gives you the ability, once you've got a little bank of shows, then he just replays half-an-hour segments along with a new segment each week. So it saves production costs. And frankly, Dave, has anybody ever said, hey, I thought I heard that once before?
You know what? One time out of the 200 shows that I've done, one person says, is that live or I thought I heard that one before. That's the only time. I mean, most everybody thinks it's live because most people don't listen for a full hour. They listen when they're driving from church to eating out. They're in their den and they're just listening to radio until the dog gets them outside. I mean, that type of thing. So
Right.
every 15 minutes, I want to make sure that I have something that's of kind of heavy weight, and make sure that we say our phone number all throughout that hour show. Yep.
Yep, it works really well. As I mentioned at the outset, I don't know if Dave, you were on there then, but it really has been, the radio has been one of the most pleasant surprises that we've had here at IAMS over the past 5 years in terms of the benefits that it's brought to. I mean, the producers that have gotten on radio, by and large, every one of them has been really happy and resulted in good business. So if that's of interest to you, and you probably during the course of a radio show, what do you do? Do a call to action on Social Security once or twice a show?
We will go in on a call to action 4 different times. So every 15 minutes we do, and then we say our phone number inside of it at least 2 times. So the phone number is probably said 15 times. It doesn't sound like it's just over and over and over, but we just say the phone number a lot. It's a toll-free number, always ends in 2677, which is BOSS for Retirement Boss Radio, which, by the way, before I even did my very first show, I did go in and did get a trademark on that. So Retirement Boss Radio, take charge of your money is the name of our show, which through IAMS, we're branding that throughout the U.S. right now. Be part of it. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, good stuff. I also somebody asked about Social Security seminars, and I think that what I answered was their question, which is like the cost per, because it can be confusing. So if you do Social Security seminars with Dave, and we use Facebook marketing to fill those up, it's $2,750 to fill up with up to 35 registrants. Usually you get more than that, but a minimum of 35 registrants over 2 nights. And so how many people that actually puts you in front of is going to be a little bit dependent on your follow-up. It could be how many people do you see? You mentioned you got 14 appointments, Dave, in your last on your last Social Security seminars. How many people did you sit in front of total?
13. I missed one for some reason, didn't show up. And of the 13, I got 6 second appointments. We've written 1 piece of business, and it was for just under $400,000. So, and I do some managed money, Steve, but let's just say I average 3% on that. So that $400,000 is going to be, give or take, about 10 or 12,000. Yeah, gross. It cost me $2,750, and I still have like 3 or 4 appointments for my 3rd appointment, which I propose and close. So it's going to be that was at Elkhorn. So, and we got another one coming up in 3 weeks. So that's been a really good one. Yeah.
Yep.
And my sales process goes out a little bit longer than most. It will actually go out 3, and then because of all the paperwork we do with the different kinds of investments, including fixed indexed, that's one of our levels of risk, and we normally have a 4th appointment. So it could go out 4 weeks before it actually does write the business itself. It's a little longer than most. If you're writing a straight fixed index, it could be a 1-stop close or a 2-stop close. Yep.
Dorothy, I'm going to suggest that if you haven't already, I know you've got a couple of questions for Dave that are real specific about Social Security claiming. If you haven't already voted yes on that poll, I would suggest that you do and take some time with Dave. He'll be glad to answer those questions. And if that's something that you want to delve more deeply into, that's a really good opportunity to do that. Carlos, so we talked about 3,000 to 4,000. I think that was for radio, Carlos. So the 3,000 to 4,000 that Dave mentioned, that's a monthly cost for radio, and basically that's all in, yeah. And 85% of that cost really is the actual time on the radio. You have to pay for that, and so it depends on your radio station. If you're getting out to a lot of people, then that cost is likely going to be higher. You might talk for a second, because I see we've got a lot of interest in radio here, Dave. You might talk a little bit about what Jared does and how he does his job.
He's a media buyer, so he has 25 years. His family actually has 60 years of buying radio stations, but he's a radio media buyer, does some television also, has over 750 shows that he's purchased airtime for every single week. That's big. I mean, he's great at what he does, knows almost everybody. I've got 3 proposals going out to him right now across the U.S., and he probably knows, I would say he knows the owners, whether it's iHeart or whether whoever it is or individual owner. but he goes out and negotiates price. We have normally 10 to 20 little pre-advertisements that go out for the week promoting your show. He gets the time slot. Remember, with radio, it all's around location. It's like real estate, location, location, location. Well, radio is you have to have the right station at the right time slot at the right pricing. We just had one that was just a great station, a great spot, and they wanted 4 times what Jared said that it was worth, and of course we passed on it. And so he's very good at that. And it isn't quite 85%, Steve, but it's about 65 or 70 is the radio time. The other cost is the production cost, and then the call center. Since it's recorded, it goes to a call center, and they are live. And they actually, we have a electronic calendar that's part of the deal, and we sync that up with the electronic calendar at the call center. So every Friday we take about 20 minutes. We block off all the time that for the next 6 weeks, and then they can set up the appointment. So those aren't just people calling in for information. Though we call them back because they're setting up appointments, and that's really key. So those are set appointments, and by far the majority of those do go through. Not all of them, but by far the majority of them. So with all of that cost, with all those 3 components, and my coaching, critiquing your first radio shows, you can call me. I coach you up also on Social Security. You go in and get everything from us. Yeah, and normally the whole in cost is somewhere between 3,000 and 4,000, most likely. It's in that neighborhood.
Got it. And that is a monthly cost, Carlos. And so, Dave, you spend how many Social Security seminars do you do a month? Are you doing 1 or 2 rounds of 2?
I do 1 campaign, 2 seminars.
2 seminars per month, and that's $2,750. So you're spending $2,750 on your seminars, and you're spending. I know you've got maybe a little bit higher radio cost because you're on a couple of stations. But what do you spend on radio? Somewhere in the mid fours.
Yeah, about 4,700. But I'm on some smaller. I'm on 5 other smaller stations too. Doesn't do as well as the big station, of course, but it does. It just sort of gives me some appointments. So yeah, so I'm spending, $500, $600, $700, $7,500, something like that. And I hope out of that I'm going to get somewhere between 20 and 30 appointments a month. Is what's going to happen. And just remember that last Social Security, I made 12 grand off of my very first one, and that's 1 appointment. So everything else is gravy. Gravy. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's sometimes what happens with a lot of folks. They look at the big number on the front end, and it can be scary because you're likely to do your first radio show like you did. We can go back to when you did your first Social Security seminars, and there were, is converting that good interest to sales. I mean, that can be a bit intimidating, and that's a big number. If you're looking at spending $6,000 or $7,000 every month on your marketing.
Yeah, here's the difference. I will say this. We get up and going a little bit faster because no one was coaching me. Even though I had tons of seminar experience, I never did Social Securities. Even though I've done radio before, I never had done this radio. Now I've got someone, if someone's coaching you, it still takes a little time to get it off, but you've got someone that's there in your hip pocket that has gone through the very same thing you do. I always say your first seminar you do is your worst seminar. Your second seminar you do is your second worst seminar. The third seminar you do is by far the best one you'll ever do. So the more you do, the better you get, no doubt.
Yeah. And you found that true in radio as well. I mean, it kind of took, you listen to the radio shows and they all sound good. They all sound the same, but it kind of took a while, didn't it? I mean, I know you were getting appointments right away, but when you started seeing 3, 4, 5 appointments per week, how long did that take?
Well, I did not get appointment in my first 3 radio shows, and it was depressing to me. I'm pretty good at what I do, but I really started studying harder on the show notes, really practicing. And my third one, I got 2, and then off I went. I was getting 2 and 3 and 1 and 4. I've had as many as 7 in one weekend. I get blanked once in a while, but very, very few times, not very often, maybe once every 2.5 months or so. So I would say, your goal. I was just talking to this guy down that was in Southeast. We just signed him up, Steve. And I was telling him, and I said, you just got to have at least a 3-month commitment. Have a 3-month commitment. If you have a 3-month commitment, I think you're going to really be hopefully very surprised on what comes on in for you.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And I think we answered most of the questions that we have, Dave. We've got a few people that haven't voted. Either they need encouragement or they're just not voters, which we need voters in America.
Yeah, we do.
Yep.
Voting is a privilege.
Yep. But is there anything that you would say as we close up here this morning? I know you've got a full slate today, but
Yeah.
anything particularly?
I will say this: Social Security, you don't look at, most advisors don't look at it as a money maker. They don't. They look at it as educational and informational, but how the heck do I make money? I will tell you right now, when you're uncovering, when you go to the wages, pensions, the investable assets you could pull an income from, RMDs on traditionals, and then social, you go through that worksheet, and I tell you right now, you're going to get a ton of assets, and you're looking where they're unhappy with their advisor, they don't have an advisor, they've been doing it, they're unhappy with the market, they just don't have enough, they've been in accumulation, and they need to tap it on down to more preservation. It's endless. I mean, I get so many appointments that lead to second appointments because I find money that they would be open to let me work with. So I hope you marked yes, and I will certainly talk to you about that. Okay, once we talk.
Good. I appreciate that. I go back to the 4% and the 111,000 numbers, because if you think about the people, less than 4% of folks do the best job that they can on figuring out their Social Security. That probably bleeds over into almost all of their whole financial planning. They
It
probably
does.
don't do the best job they can with their pension if they still have one. They probably are not doing the best job they can with their 401k. Are they best planning for how they're going to do their retirement and how they're going to get what they want in their retirement? That 4% number, I bet, is pretty darn accurate. And so if you can get yourself in front of people, whether it's on the radio, whether it's on seminars, whether it's whatever you do, to get in front of folks, they need your help. That's just the bottom line. They need people that understand things like Social Security and things like how to invest properly for the right income in retirement. They need people to help them with that, and most people aren't getting it. I would say
No,
probably about 96% of people aren't getting it. So
yeah, you're
be the
right.
first. Yeah,
Yeah.
you could be that guy or that gal that helps them. And by the way, you get to make a good living while you do it. We'd love to help you. That's what we're all about here at IAMS. And so I always say this: we're biased towards people that are willing to take some time on a Tuesday morning and listen in to some of the stuff. We're biased towards helping people that are willing to take the time and make the efforts to get coached up and understand the challenges. So whatever we can do to help you, let us know. We'd love to. Thank you for joining us today. It's important to us that we have people like you that we can work with. So let us know how we can help you. Our number here is 800-255-5055. My name is Steve Murray. You got a whole team of folks, about 15 annuity marketers, about 5 or 6 life marketers. Somebody works with MedSups, and a whole team of people here to help you. So if you need some assistance, give us a call. We'd love to help you. And remember, when you call here, you're going to get a live answer. And it's going to be quick. You're going to hear somebody's going to pick up the phone a lot of times before you even get to that second ring. So we'd love to help you, and we're dedicated to service and working with independent producers. Again, 800-255-5055. Thank you for joining us today.
Thanks, everybody. Have a good week. Bye-bye.